We're live. So, everybody, we are on 100 Dates and 100 Dates. I am Candice, and my lovely, handsome co host is. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Mumba. Keep it simple, Mumba. We don't
Keep
need
it.
to put a last name. Yeah. I like the introduction though. You were spot on.
Yeah,
100%. Everything you said was 100% accurate.
there we go.
Yeah. Hey, you look before we get started, you looking good today. You looking good. You looking fly, you looking beautiful, so you're gonna definitely be getting a lot of dates. So you looking fly.
You are something else.
No,
Thank you.
it's true. The color and the shirt, perfect.
My favorite color ever.
Yeah. Complements your skin, everything, so
I appreciate that.
yeah.
So, 100 dates and 100 dates for everybody who has never watched the show before or who has never heard of it. Last week we started a whole new streaming. It's on StreamYard. So if you go to YouTube on the YouTube channel, you should be able to see us live, and you could participate, and then that way you can see my co-host. Um, 100 Days in 100 Days is about dating advice, right? I'm not a professional, so it's only going to be from my perspective and Mumba's perspective. Um, Nobody gave us any letters behind our name for this thing, but I have started dating, I want to say 4 years ago now. And in the past 4 years, I have been on over 100 dates. Started off as a joke, um, that I was going to end up going on 100 dates before I met anybody that I liked. So we decided to do 100 dates in 100 days. I say that, but it's not 100 people. For some reason, everybody hears 100 people whenever I say 100 dates. Um, I don't know how they thought I could date 100 people. I mean, maybe I can. I don't know, but it might take a lot of energy. But I went on 100 dates in 100 days. Still didn't meet anybody. I'm still single. I listened to you last week, Mumba. Two people asked me out. One was married, so that's not an option. And the other one was way too young. And he tried to give me like all the age is just a number type. I'm cool. I don't want to rock anybody's cradle. So I got two dates, but still no viable options. So still outside. But this week I wanted to talk about two things, right? I wanted to talk about childhood trauma and how it relates to dating. And I wanted to talk about the red flags that we see because we've dated so much, like how quick people like me are probably ready to give up because as soon as we see a red flag, we out. You have What's your opinion on childhood trauma and dating? Do you think childhood trauma affects dating at all?
Yeah, I think it affects dating. I think probably that might be the number one cause that affects dating is childhood trauma, you know.
What
So
do you
I,
How do you think it affects dating?
I think it affects dating because it if you never so now and now this is my opinion and my perspective, just thinking like if you never was able to resolve the childhood trauma and it just lingered and it stayed with you and you kind of dated like throughout your lifetime, etc., and you never really healed, you never really talked to someone and open up and find ways to heal, then I think it's gonna affect dating. That is always gonna affect, when you dating someone, because you still have that trauma, you still have that in your memory, and you still hold, the person is still holding on to it. So it's definitely going to affect you. It might affect you where you might not trust someone, whatever the trauma is. If it's something that close to it, is always going to be in the back of your mind, etc., etc. So, I think that's the number one cause to a lot of failures when it comes to the relationship and that, because you have that trauma in your memory, you know. Because for instance, if you meet someone, sometimes they'll say like, hey, so and so and so, this is what happened to me, etc. so they might not be able to trust or open up to someone.
Definitely. I think the way our childhood affects our the way child it affects our we see relationships that look a certain way, right? If our parents or our aunts and uncles handled relationships a certain way, we think that that's what relationships are supposed to look like. And I think it takes a long time for people to unlearn a lot of things and then decide what it is that they want their own relationship to look like, right? So I may not want my
Right.
relationship to look, not that my parents relationship is wrong or bad, it may just not be the way I want mine to look. But I think what people do a lot of times is they start relationships before they even know what they want. And I know we talked about that a little bit last week, like people not knowing what they want before they even start. So,
Yeah.
but that takes us right into knowing what you want and the red flags, right? So once you've healed, once you've done all of the healing and all of the therapy and all the unpacking and unlearning of everything, and you decide what it is that you want, see these red flags really quickly, and you be on some like, yeah, it was nice meeting you. I'm out. Do you think that that happens a lot with healing? Because nobody talks about that, right? Nobody talks about what happens after you've healed and after you've done all the work. Like, what should a relationship look like then?
Uh, Let me see how I could tackle that. So everybody has their own personal, situations and the way how they heal. And then when it comes to red flags, like what are some examples? I'll put so to help me answer your question. What's some red flags, or like what's a popular red flag that you see, that you recognize after you have healed?
So, me personally, people think that talking means that you're having a conversation, right? And I don't understand. Like, just because you're talking to me and you're telling me what you like, if you're not asking me what I like or whether I agree, or we're not having an open conversation about it, it's not a conversation. You're just talking to me, and that's fine. But I think that's one of my biggest red flags recently is like active communication is like a big thing for me.
And that's the number one. I think that's the number one red flag, because it all starts with conversation, communication, and conversation. You know, So like if you meet someone, like you want to get to know them, you want to know about the person. So the way you could approach the person, the way you could communicate with the person and talk to the person. You know, I think you got to be able to dive deep and have a deep conversation eventually, whenever when the two people feel comfortable in having those conversations. You know, just by having a conversation like you just touched on, you could kind of tell where the person is at. You could tell their maturity, you could tell where they're at in their life and what they're looking for, etc. and etc. Because if you're not having a conversation of how you can make this person happy, or what's the goals and values and principles and all the stuff that's the most important foundation of having a happy relationship, then it's just gonna you're just gonna see, like you said, a red flag. So you're not really gonna go anywhere.
You said something that I want to touch on. You think that you could make somebody happy? Like, because you said listening to find out what you could do to make somebody happy. Do you feel like another person can make somebody happy?
Yeah, definitely. Because like if me and you is having a conversation, I want to know what makes you happy. I want to know what you like, what you dislike, what your pet peeves, what are your goals in life, what's your favorite music, all the stuff. Like the little things is the most important things in life, because you get to know the person inside and out. So like is a lot of things that you like that makes you happy, that gives you goosebumps and stuff like that. But I don't know. So in order for me to know it, is I have to ask you these questions. I have to ask you personal questions. I have to ask you deep questions, questions that will actually make you think, when you be like, man, a guy never asked me this before. So when I intrigue your mind by asking you deep questions or certain questions, then I apologize for the noise.
I get it.
But
I
then,
get it. You're a busy
but
man. We appreciate you taking the time out for us. You're a busy
yeah,
guy. But
hey, anything for you, anything for you, because you're a hardworking lady as well. But like when you ask certain questions to someone that they never get asked before, you know those is going to push like certain buttons that are going to make you more interested and appreciate that this person is actually trying to get to know you mentally, because it's all about mental, is that mental communication before anything, before you could take the next level. Everybody think it's just physical and attraction and stuff like that, that materialistic things, but all that stuff fades and stuff like that. It's just actually getting to know you or what makes you happy. You might tell me something like, hey, like opening a car door makes me happy, and I could be somebody that never opened up a car door for someone because maybe where I was raised and stuff like that, it was never looked upon. But me just ask you what are the simple things that make you happy and something like that. The next thing I open up the car door, etc. That makes you happy, that makes you smile, or like simple things like leaving a note, like something outside the box, that makes you happy. But in order for me to notice is just by communication, conversation, and it's not conversation just to like get in your pants or anything. It's actually a conversation that you feel comfortable knowing, like, man, this person is actually trying to get to know me,
so if
trying to
I
get to know me.
ask you to do something that makes me happy, sorry, but it makes you unhappy, right? I want you to open the car door, and I don't care if we in the middle of traffic. Do you still do it?
We mean open the car door in the middle of traffic? We mean like middle of traffic?
Like if I'm one of those people that I want you to open a door, I don't care where we are. I don't care that your door is facing traffic or my door is facing traffic. I'm so inconsiderate that I want this
Okay.
door open. Like I just don't care. Do you do it anyway?
Okay. So like that's where the tricky part comes in. I feel like no one should tell someone what to do to make them feel happy. I think is like if you tell me like I brought up the car door, so like I will open up the car door every single time me and you in the car together. I'll open it up for you. I'll close it for you. If we leave in some place, I'll open up for you. Facing traffic, not facing traffic, because the foundation of everything that makes you happy is the fact that I'm being a gentleman, I'm being a man, I'm being a protector. I'm opening up the car door for you. I can't fulfill you and make you happy 100% if I only open up the car door certain places or stuff like that. That's not true. That's not true. So it really doesn't matter. But you should excuse me, you should never tell someone to open up the car door for you.
So I tell you what makes me happy. You decide you if you're going to do it or not, right? That's how it works. I'm not actually asking you to do it. I got to give you the choice.
Yeah, you got to give me the choice, because if you give me the choice, then it's organic. I'm doing it because I really want to make you happy. There's a difference between doing it because I really want to make you happy and doing it because somebody telling me to do it. That's mean it's not pure. I might just be doing it for like a benefit or whatever the case may be. But actually doing it out of the goodness of your heart, just based off of a conversation that we had, then
Hmm.
like, okay, this person is paying attention to me, etc., etc. Because if you tell me like, what really makes me happy is when somebody open up the car door for me. I mean, you go on a first date and I don't open up the car door for you, and you already told me, man, you don't have to. You should be like, man, this guy ain't paying attention to me,
Well,
and
we
that
all
lets you.
know me. I'm out. First red flag I see. I don't
Yes,
care.
facts.
But everything has to make sense to me, right? So like if I tell you that I like the card, if you tell me that you like women who wear dresses, right? And you just feel like women look way better in dresses. But we're going somewhere like an amusement park where chances are I wear my dress, everybody gonna see all my cookies. Like I'm not gonna wear a dress, even though I
Okay.
know that that's something that will make you happy. I'm not gonna do it, right? And it's not because my intent isn't to make my partner happy. It don't make sense to me. I don't want my cookies out there. I don't want my legs touching the back of a airplane seat. So I'm wearing pants. Like it just so for me everything has to make sense. Now, if I
That's
know
true.
that it makes you happy, I have I have two choices, right? I could either have that conversation where you like, hey babe, I understand that you like when I wear dresses, but where we're going, I'm not gonna be able to wear a dress. Or I could just say, you know what, that's his business. I don't care what makes him happy. It makes more sense to, and I think that's where for me the conversations come in, right? Because I knew that it made you happy. And it's not that I didn't care. It was just that it makes sense. I ain't doing it. So I don't know. I know there was something that you wanted to talk about. I know but I have a question that came in that somebody wants us to answer.
Okay.
They asked if they're dating somebody and it's a guy and he's saying if he's dating a girl and she's dating multiple people but she's honest about it, does he stop himself from catching feelings? You want to answer it first or me?
It's up to you. If you want me to answer it first, I answer it first because I'll answer it first.
I think you should answer it because I'm locked and loaded on mine. I already know how I need to answer this. But go ahead.
I'll put it this way: the day you start trying to control your feelings, you're gonna always lose.
There you go. Look at
Very
you.
sim, very simple. You're gonna always lose. The best thing in life is always to be true to yourself and be true to the person. Because when it's all said and done, you know, at the end of the day, you did everything possible. You was honest, and you can always live with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You always gotta be. You gotta. No matter what, you always gotta believe in yourself. You always gotta be confident in yourself. Because the only thing you can control is what you do. You can't control what anybody else do.
At
You
all.
know. So if you catch feelings, you catch feelings. Tell the person like, man, look, man, this is how I feel about you, and it's her choice to either decide what she want to do. And you got to respect the other person's decision. Whatever, however she feels, and she don't want to do whatever she don't want to do, you and she want to go the other way. Respect that. And if you really care about her, and you respect that she was honest with you, you could still have a open conversation with her and still be friends if she want to be friends and still keep her close. Like if you still really like if you really have feelings and you really care, and this is somebody that you really, really feel like, man, you know what? I'm gonna let her be, and we could still be friends. I'll check up on her, whatever, whatever. And if I have another shot, I'm willing to take it. If you don't, if you feel like, you know what, she had a chance, then you just go your separate ways, and there's no hard feelings. But you got to be true.
Well, at this point, I think everybody knows how I feel about dating, right? I don't feel like you're supposed to date one person. I don't feel like anybody fills out a job application one at a time and waits for the job to call them back. Like, we don't do anything in one. So I don't understand why dating has to be the thing that we do. Now I feel like once you do start to catch feelings, because you can't control that. If you have control over your feelings, the feelings aren't real. I
Yeah,
feel like once you start to have feelings, I think that's when you need to have the conversation with her, like, hey, I'm ready to transition into a relationship. How do you feel about that? Let's make sure both of us are on the same page and ask her what relationships look like. Because if relationships still mean I'm going to see other people and that's not what you want, then that's not the person you want to be in a relationship with anyway. But
true
dating?
that.
Nah, I'm dating everybody. I'm dating your uncle, your daddy, your brother. I'm dating everybody. I need to make sure that I pick the right one. But but I need to make sure too. Like a lot of people don't understand that dating doesn't mean that you sleeping with everybody or that you spending like because he said she makes him feel like he's the only one every time they're together. And that's exactly what she's supposed to do. Like she
Fact,
shouldn't be entertaining other conversations or being with other people when she's with him. Like that's what dating is. I've always said like you pick up a phone while you're on a date with me, the date is over. Like there's nothing else for
fact,
us to talk about. Cause
facts. Yeah.
a date isn't all day. So if you can't spend an hour of your time without having to see what's going on Instagram or Twitter or I ain't
That's
it.
true. It's
An
true. You're right.
hour? You can't give me an hour? I'm cool. And I get that so many people are addicted to their phones and addicted to like the outside world, the outside noise. But I guess that's when I show my age, right? Because we didn't have cell phones and you could
That's
just
true.
turn your pager off for a second and don't. Don't wait for no pages to come through. I don't know. So
See,
so
oh,
people are to checking in, right? So everybody that's here on the live, you can go onto the YouTube channel and you should be able to see both of us. And if you have any more questions, you could send them on there. The um I have posted the live the link in my story on 100 Pace and 100 Days. I could post it on my personal page if you guys need to. But go ahead, Mumba. I know you were about to say something.
no, I was gonna say, like, for instance, you see, you just said something. You're not, you don't like, if we on a date, we, sacrifice for our, you don't have to be checking Instagram and stuff like that. Now, you just said something very important. Something like I said, like, if me and you was gonna go on a date, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Is there do you need your phone? Is anybody needs to call you, whatever, for emergency, whatever the case may be? Let's put our phones away. Let's go on a date. Boom, boom, boom. Something like that. Just like those little things, you would be happy to hear those type of things because that's in your lane. Because you just said that, you know, like, don't pick up. We on a date. You don't need to be picking up your phone. You pick up your phone, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
So you feel like that's something that I should say ahead of time?
No, just you shouldn't that, but it goes back to it's like that's where conversations come back in. You see what I'm saying? Like how me and you having a conversation right now and you just said what you said, then I know like, okay, I know not to pick up my phone, you know, and check Instagram. If we're on a date, we should be talking, we should look each other in the eye and have conversation and stuff like that. But the fact that you said that, it would make me take the extra step and make you realize like, hey, I'm paying attention to you. So I'd be like, hey, you know what? Man, let's leave our phones in the car, man, so we don't have any type of distractions. We need to be into each other. You will appreciate that because you already said that, put off, we don't need to be picking up our phone. But now if you might need your phone because some of a child might need to call you, whatever, then that's a different story. But the fact that I initiated to let you know that I'm paying attention, it will go well with you because it's letting you know even before we even sit down that I'm actually letting you know that I'm really into you, that I'm willing to put my phone away, you know?
Yep. I tell my children, like, if I'm about to go on a date, I tell them all the time, like, hey, I'm about to go out. So unless it's an absolute emergency, like, don't call me. But if it's
Yeah.
so I tell people if I go on a date with somebody, I'll open it up with the fact that like, hey, I have kids, they're at home. So if I pick up my phone, it's because it's an absolute emergency. Now, I also do have a safety mechanism, right? So I have friends that will know that I'm going on a date and they will call me within the first 10 minutes on a date just in case I need a out, right? This dude is a creep. So if I answer the phone, they know like come up with something like the house is on fire because I need to go. But if I don't answer the
Makes
phone, they
sense.
know not to call back again because this person isn't creepy. I could actually see myself sitting down for the rest of this date. So I always tell people to watch out for like safety things, right? Because you could be catfished. Now, I'm a very direct person, right? So those were things that I needed in the beginning of my 100 dates when I felt like I was going to be too afraid to get up and hurt somebody's feelings. But today, Candace, today, after 100 dates, nah, I'm getting up. If I think you a creep, I'm leaving. If I think that you're disrespectful to the wait staff or you just we ain't vibing, and I'm not afraid to be like, look, it was nice meeting you, but me and you ain't it. It just
Yeah,
ain't
you
it.
got
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, no, go ahead, my bad. I was just agreeing. I was gonna say you're right.
Now, what I find that I run into more now being extremely direct is people who want to challenge it, right? So like I was telling you with the guy that's younger, he wants to convince me that like I could see right up front all the red flags, all the things that we won't agree in. And he wants to tell me like age is just a number. you could teach me to be this way. Maybe I'm not seeing it yet. I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to have to go through all those phases. So are you still in, because I know people go through different phases in dating. Are you in a phase where you're still willing to like date and compromise and teach people stuff, and are you there?
You know, that's a very good question. I never really think about that. Um,
See why you need to go on 100 dates? Because you learn these things about yourself.
you know, it's like, I'm honestly like, I'm not even, no, I'm not into, I'm where I'm at right now in my life. I'm not into like teaching anybody anything. I just feel like I'm more on the, I'm too, like, I'm more like on a, just the cruise sail, man. It's just like a mature person, just vibing and clicking. I don't need to teach anybody anything. My main goal is just, not goal, but where I'm at is just somebody that's confident, somebody who knows who they are, somebody that's confident, somebody who can have a conversation. We could agree to disagree. It's just maturity. Maturity is number one for me, you know? That's what it is. Maturity. I can't be teaching anybody anything and stuff like that. I'm not right now. That's, you know,
But
so
you
it's all
gotta
about
teach them
maturity.
what you like, and you gotta teach them what you don't like, right? So that's part
That's
of teaching.
that's conversations.
Oh, okay.
Conversation. That's what it is. It's all about just having that conversation. You know,
So you aren't teaching them in this conversation. You just telling them what you want, and then asking them. Are you asking them if they're willing to do it, or is it just one of those like, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't.
if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. Because like I mentioned earlier, is like everything gotta when it comes to like a relationship and stuff like that, is like y- everything is pure. You gotta be like open minded, and you gotta decide like if this is this is do I want to do this? Don't want to do this? Like I don't want to make somebody do something they don't want to do. You know, you doing it on your own, lets me know that you're paying attention and you're willing to make adjustments, you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and stuff like that. Because if me and you having a conversation and we saying like, yeah, and I don't really like to do this, and then I find out you like to do this, now it's my job to decide, am I gonna step out the comfort zone? Am I gonna step out the box and make a little sacrifice and put my pride or ego, whatever you want to say, aside, because I'm willing to try because I'm really into this person, then that's what you do. You shouldn't have to like make me, because when people start making people do stuff, that's when it's like, you doing it because somebody making you do it instead of like you doing it and stuff. That's what it is. It goes back. That's why I said like the foundation of a good relationship is a conversation. Like just because you is not even it has nothing to do with like my opinion. It's just me getting to know who you are, how you was as a child, growing up. Did anything bad happen to you? Did anybody try to molest you? Like you want to ask these type of questions because you're showing the person that you care about them. You know what
Now,
I'm saying?
when you ask those type of questions, what knowledge do you think you gain from it, or what knowledge are you hoping to gain from it?
The, it, it's just me understanding the person. Because in order to understand somebody, you got to know what type of person they are, throughout their life, and that's if they're willing to share, and I will explain myself, I just ask you these questions because I'm trying to get to know you. I want to make sure I understand who you are. Is there any triggers? Is something happen that might shut you down and stuff like that, So it's like you got to ask these questions. I don't think somebody would just come out and say. Some people might just come out and say something, but you got to ask questions. You know, and even like if I'm dating somebody or I'm getting to know someone, that's the first thing I tell them. I say, listen, I'm gonna ask you all kind of questions. I'm gonna ask you personal questions, and I mean no disrespect. It's just me getting to know you. And if I offend you or if you feel uncomfortable, you just let me know so I don't disrespect you or make you feel any type of way. Like I'll be open and truthful to let them know that because that's who I am as a person. Like anybody could ask me anything, and I am not embarrassed or ashamed or afraid or anything. That's just me. So I let them know what type of person I are, and if they feel any type of way, I will respect that and everything. And if I feel like someone can't really like open up and stuff like that, knowing that I'm an open person, then it won't work, and I'll just let them know it won't work, and then depends on their response. You know, if they say like, "Hey, it's gonna take me a little bit longer," then it depends on how I feel. I'd be like, "Okay, you know what? I'll ease off and try to grow with the person." So it's all about making adjustments and stuff like if you want to and if you're willing.
I suck at asking questions. I don't ask people questions. I am one of those people because I'm an open book, right? But I tell on myself. Like I can't get away with doing nothing because I tell on myself. Um, but I don't ask people questions. I just don't. I don't ask people questions at all. And I've had somebody tell me recently, like, we've been friends for over 25 years. And they said that I don't know them because I don't ask questions. And I was like, but if my thing is, if you've been my friend for over 25 years and you realize that I don't ask questions, it's not something that changed. It's not something that's new. It's not a new development. If there's something that you want me to know, I would think that you would tell me, right? Because I have friends that I've had since elementary school. I can't tell you what they do for a living because I'm not their friend for what they do for a living. I'm their friend because of the person that they are, right? And it might be important to them to know what I do for a living because that might be important to them, but it's just not important to me, right? What's important to me is people's hearts and how they treat one another and how you treat me. Those are the things that are important to me. So, when you're looking at a relationship, what are the things that are important to you in your partner? What qualities do they have to have?
Confidence, maturity, respectful, open-minded. Trying to think, and like just just like honesty. You know what I'm saying? You just be honest. Be honest. Like speak your mind. Speak. Just be honest. Like and everything. I would say, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think like yeah, that's about it. I think confidence is the most important thing though. Like body language, confident because like with me, if I'm out with like a female, my lady, wife, fiance, whoever you want to put the label on, we out somewhere. I want to make sure like where we at, you know, you be confident to who you are, no matter no matter who's around. Excuse me, no matter who's around and or anything like that. You always be confident in who you are, knowing like, hey, I'm the one here.
I'm the baddest
Like
bitch.
yeah, yeah,
So
confident.
there's a difference between there's a fine, fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? So how do you know when they've crossed that line?
When you want people to know, that's where you cross the line. Because I put for me, like I'm a chill person, but wherever I go, I'm like I know I'm that dude for sure. I'm
Okay.
that dude, but I don't. You won't know I'm that dude, but I know I'm that dude. Like if I'm walking and somebody watch me, I'm watching them dead in the eye. You know, I'm watching them. I'm confident. I gotta go pasture. I'm me. I'm the one. But I won't act like I'm the one because I'm not like flashy. I don't wear jewelry. I don't. I won't attract those type of stuff. I won't come off arrogant and stuff like that. Like I'll be respectful and everything like that. But I know like I'm the one. I have confidence in myself. Like it could be like it could be somebody walking and whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like I don't really care. Like I don't see nobody else. I just see the person I'm next to, and I'm the one. So when everybody look me in the eye, they know like, okay, he's a real one. Without me, I don't have to yell. I don't have to steer. I don't have to like make a fun. Nah, I'm good. That's just me. Wherever I go in life, that's just who I am. And it's no arrogance or anything like that. I just believe in myself 100%. You know, so that's why like that's important with a lady. Since she walk in, like she ain't worrying about the other ladies. Like I don't care who it is. I'm the one. And that's it.
You don't care if
It's just
Beyonce walk in the room. That's it.
no, yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like if Beyonce walking and I'm with you, like that doesn't matter. This is the one right here.
You
And
stuttered
it's
right there. You stuttered right there a little bit. You
no,
was
no, no. I'm being 100% honest because you change your body language based on somebody's looks. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. Everybody know who Beyonce is. Okay, she look good, right? She got a bunch of money. So what else? What type of person is she? Like really behind the scenes. What type of person is she? You know what
I
I'm
had
saying? And there's no
somebody just
disrespect.
comment on the other page. They said, "I like loose women. Do I have a problem?"
No, look, you whatever you like, you like. Because if you like something, just be ready to handle what comes with it. That's just the way how it is. Like how I just said, I like an honest woman. Well, guess what? You be ready for when she's honest. That's put it. You know what? Dating is just like the ocean. When you jump in the ocean, you got sharks, you got whales, you got dolphins, you got snapper, you got robins. You got the sardines, you got crab, you got lobster, you got conch. You have no control over what fish come to you and nibble on you or bite you or attack you. You in the open waters. It's just like dating. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a foundation of who you are and stuff like that. You gotta be ready for whatever repercussions come the way how you give it out.
Well, let me just hang out in the pool. I want to hang out in a kiddie pool where I, where I can,
Ah,
where I could control who coming to nibble on me. Because these days I don't want too many different type of nipples. But no, I don't think you're right. I don't feel like anybody has. If you decide you like loose women, that's your business. If you like
yeah,
women that stay at home, that's your business. Like whatever you decide. But I think what happens is a lot of people find loose women and then try to make them housewives, or they find housewives and they complain because they don't go outside, or they don't want to try anything, or they don't want to do anything new. And for me, it's like, you met me this way, and then yes, everybody should evolve, right? And everybody should grow, and everybody should do something different, but then let me do that in my own time, not your influence. And a lot of times, like, I always say that women love for potential and men love for right now, right? So women will love you for who they see you becoming in 10 years.
facts.
And then they get with you and they rush in the 10 years to hurry up and happen, right? And it's like, but you met me this way. You decided that you wanted to love me for who you thought or who you think I'm going to become. So just sit your ass on the couch and wait 10 years until I become that person. So I think, but men love for right now, right? So that's why the saying is, love a man who loves you, or if a man wants to marry you, he'll do it. When women start, so how do you feel about, because I had this conversation with somebody the other day too. How do you feel about women who propose to men?
I mean, that's fine. Like if I see a woman propose to a man, I have nothing but the utmost respect for her. You know why? Because it's out of the norm of the way how society view marriage and proposal. So if I see a woman do that, man, that's a winner.
That's a winner.
Honestly, yeah, because it's like, you know, she doesn't care what anybody else thinks. She's doing something that's not the norm. She doing what she feels like it's in her heart. And once somebody does something that they feel like that's what's in their heart and is outside the norm, you could agree, you could disagree, but you at the end of the day, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect that. So like I have no problem with a woman, you know, proposing and stuff like that. That's the thing with proposals is like, man, you letting the person know like I want this to be forever. And you gotta appreciate and respect it, however the other person feel, you know.
Definitely. I'll propose, but I ain't Keisha K or proposing. Like, I ain't giving you a huge diamond ring on top of a diamond band. I don't know how I feel about this ring that Gucci Man wearing right now, but it ain't my business. I don't have Gucci Man and Keisha K or money, so maybe that's why I feel the way I feel. But I just feel like his diamond is just a little too big, you know? A
Yeah,
little too big. Can't play baseball with a ring like that, that's for sure.
that's true. You know,
Yeah.
you I think when you really know somebody, you know what type of ring to get them.
Yeah. And
You
maybe
know?
that's what it comes down to, right? They icy, so they want it to be
Yeah,
icy.
yeah.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. So we talked about honesty being important. So what's the difference between honesty and transparency?
I mean, it's
Or which one is more
honestly,
important to you? Honesty or transparency?
um, probably, I would say transparency, just because when it comes to honesty, that's something that's something that's you as a person. You know, if you are an honest person, or the way how you go about being honest and stuff like that, it's like that's you. That's just who you are as a person. Either you're gonna be honest or not. You know what I'm saying? I can't force somebody to be honest. But when it comes to transparency, it's different, because it's like it's not just you alone, it's somebody else. So you got to be transparent. You don't have to, be one way. You have to be open. So that's more important than anything.
Yeah,
You know?
transparency is definitely more important to me than honesty.
Yeah,
I used to believe in honesty, right? Until I realized I don't ask questions. So if I don't ask you questions, you're always honest to me. You ain't lying because I didn't ask you anything. So transparency became way more important to me because I want you to tell me the important things.
yeah,
I want you to be upfront about certain things before we even enter the dating realm. And me and you talked last week about like finances, like how early you talk about finances. One of the biggest things that I've been talking about this week with people is living arrangements, right? um I have been married twice. Everybody by now should know that. But I have never lived with anybody, like ever in my life. So I moved out of my parents' house when I was 15, and I haven't lived with anybody since. So one of the biggest things people have been asking me this week is if I could ever see myself getting married again, right? And I keep saying, yeah, like I could see myself getting married again because now that I've healed and I've unpacked a lot of my stuff, I feel like whoever gets me now will get the best version of me, right? But what I don't know that I could do is I don't know that I could live with somebody. And only because I've never done it, right? So it's not like it's the most impossible thing in the world, but like sharing my space with somebody, sharing my bathroom. I don't even like sleepovers. Like my anxiety goes to like 20. So how do you feel about people? Because Will Smith and Jada had this whole like segment where they talked about having their house and having a bridge across it because they were gonna live in this house together forever, regardless, right? How do you feel about um people? Wait, let me answer a question.
yeah.
So somebody asked, "How was I married twice and they never lived with anybody?" So I was in the military, and um, they never let us live together. So we were
Okay,
always
how you doing?
in separate places. Like the closest I think they got us to each other, he was in New York and I was in North Carolina. That was the closest they could ever get us to each other. And when they did that, we would deploy. So and then the first time I was married, I was in college. So we did the long distance thing. We never got to officially like have our own house together. We shared each other's dorm rooms illegally. Um, but we never really got to like live together. So and I was married to my second husband for we were together for 15 years. So he took up majority of my adulthood. So now I'm stepping in. If I step into something, I'm stepping in at 41 years old, never living with anybody, me having my habits, them having theirs. What's the biggest advice that you would give me about having to share space with somebody at this old age? Yeah, it's funny, huh? Because I ain't gonna have to do it eventually.
I would, man.
Shut up, Will. I'm not 51. If I'm 51, you 72.
51. Man, what's just be. my advice is just like be transparent.
Just tell them, hey, you sleep in your room. So this, the way I figure it is, right? I want us to have two separate rooms, like two separate bedrooms, just in case, right? And when it's time to go to bed, we could go to bed together. But throughout the day, you have your space, I have my space. Is that wrong? Is that wrong to walk into a relationship thinking that way?
No, it's not wrong because it's like you know what, r- walking into a relationship, honestly, there is no rules. There's no rules whatsoever. You walk into a relationship with somebody, they walk into a relationship with you. It's all about coexisting. You know,
Had
that's what it's all
somebody
about.
tell me, they say nothing, so we in the same room. I want to be in the same room eventually, just not like, because that's another thing too. I've slept over like at boyfriends' houses and stuff. Don't get me wrong, like I've done that, and even
Yeah.
that made my anxiety level like 25, like because I never felt like it was my space, right? So, do you? If I own a home and you own a home, we get married. What do we do?
If we get married, then I know you already don't like, I already not don't like, but yeah, I already know like your comfortability as far as living to get sleeping in this all the stuff. I understand that. So that's mean if we got married, then I know like it's something we could try. Well, it depends. Then it depends on the other person too. Like how are they? Are they okay with it? They was okay with it enough to marry you. So that's mean you guys. We probably had some type of agreement to the fact we probably might try and work on it and stuff like that. You know, it's for me. Okay, put it. I
Tricky, ain't it?
no, because it's like I can't. I'm trying to answer where thinking about what other people. I don't just for me. Like for me, I don't think that's not an issue for me. For me, it's not an issue if I meet somebody like that. Like like where is like the bridge where you got your space, I got my space and stuff like that. Like that's fine with me. You know. So,
So am
but
I
for other
staying
people,
in my house, or are you staying in your house, or are we just getting our own house together? Like, how are we doing this? You decide to get married to somebody because at some point, right? Like you work through the. I've never attempted to like cohabitate with somebody unless we was discussing marriage already, right? So I know that's something that I want to do different. I know that I want to live with somebody before I marry them or before I get to the point of marrying them. And that's something that I never used to say. I grew up Catholic. I might be a little wild, but I grew up Catholic as shit. So like that whole like living together or cohabitating together before marriage was never on the table for me. But now that's definitely something that I've said. If I get to that stage and I actually somebody could make it past 90 days with me, and we start talking about like being together for real. I think that we need to live together first so I could see their living habits. They might have to have their own room in the beginning, but we at least need to live together. So I move
yeah.
in with you. I own a house, you own a house. Do I move into your house? Do you own into my house? Do we give up our houses all together and get a shared space? Like, how does that work?
We just decide. I mean, that would just we have to talk about it. We got to see how your house is. We got to see how my house is. We got to see the location. All that stuff will play a factor in the decision which house we choose. You know.
I had
So
somebody say we rent one and we live in one. We pick the one that's best suitable for the family.
yeah, that's true. That's 100%. That's the same way how I would do it. Yeah, we choose which one is best for us, and then we rent the other one. So you have additional income coming in, and everybody win. Everybody happy.
Okay, so here's a question because we talked about family, right? Dating and children. When you're dating somebody, how soon do you introduce them to your children?
Once once if I'm established, I'm dating someone. You know, I'll I mean, for me, honestly, like it could be whenever. To be honest, like I have no rules. For me, when it comes to me, I have no rules, man. I don't even have. I don't hold. I don't get fall into all of that stuff. I have no rules. So if me and you date, one if you have the opportunity to meet them right away, you meet them right away, whenever. I have no rules or anything like that. No limitations, none of that stuff. All that stuff that does affect dating, I think, personally. Because you're not going off of feelings. You're going off plans and okay, 3 weeks, then he could meet my son. For 4 weeks he could meet my daughter. Man, F all of that stuff, man. It's whenever.
I think
Whenever
moms and dads are different when it comes to that, right? I think dads are
I
more
agree.
open to like introducing their kids sooner. I don't know what that is, like why moms and dads are so different about that. Like moms want to protect their children for as long as they possibly can, right? So you used to hear all those jokes when we was kids about everybody being uncle, like that's your uncle. Knowing that that was like you grow up later, you realize that's the dude that was smashing your mother, right?
That's
I
hilarious.
I grew up in the same house with the same parents my entire life. So I've never personally had to be introduced to anybody different, right? But I've had a lot of friends who run into that. And I think for me it's the age of the children that makes the difference, right? The understanding of the children. I feel like
Facts,
when they're
yeah.
really really young, it's easier to like get away with bringing people around because they're not really paying attention. That whole sleepover vibe with children in the house, not so much. And then I think when they're older, you have another opportunity to do that again because teenagers ain't paying you no mind. They could care less about what you're doing. I think it's those years in between, like from 5 to like 14. I don't know. Again, I've never had to do it. I've introduced one person to my children recently. Um, but as kids, the only person they knew was their father. So I've never had to do that. And I've always like considered like how I would do it, whether it's in a public place. So I think moms stress about that a whole lot because we want to make sure that the first meeting is going to be perfect. They're gonna like each other. Because if my kids don't like this dude, I can't be with him. Like we do have those. Well, most of us do anyway. Some of us don't care. They have a different man every day of the week, but that's something different.
Yeah,
That's something. That's some loose girls that we were talking about earlier.
I agree with you though. You're right. I agree with you. I agree with you.
So parenting, because if you're dating somebody, do they get to parent your child?
Uh, nah, they don't. It's like it depends on the circumstances. Actually, it depends on the circumstances. Not really. Not. I think it's more. I think not parent. I won't. I won't put it as parent. I'll be putting it as more like the role like of a teacher or something like that. Something like that. It doesn't have to come off like they're parenting them, but more like a friend, like a sister, like a brother type. Something like that, where you know no one is too uncomfortable and stuff like that. Because if something is happening, I would expect the person I'm dating, like if something happening, my kid's doing something and it's something that's it could affect them, whatever the case may be, safety. I want them to really be there to like advice or help or something like that. So I don't want him to be like, well, you know what, he told me not to parent this kid, so he was doing that. I'm gonna just let him do that. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. But that's a conversation you have with somebody that's dating. Like just let them know, like, hey, if it's something that you feel like is gonna hurt them or help affect their health and stuff like that, kind of step in. Somehow way, and if they feel uncomfortable doing it, then you just gotta respect the fact that they feel uncomfortable. You know. But
It's
once
why
you
I don't
once
want
that
date people to have little children anyway. I don't want to do it. If
you
you
say
have
what?
children, I don't want to date people with little children anyway. If you have children that's under the age of 14, I ain't it.
No,
Just
yeah,
swipe
yeah,
past me.
yeah. That's true. Again, yeah, is what fit. You know what? Is what fits in your dating timeline.
I
That's
figure
what it is.
the running rule that I have right now is your child has to be the age of my youngest, right? So my youngest is 14. As he continues to age, that age is going to continue to go up because once I'm done being a parent, like a full-time parent, I ain't doing it. I'm in the age of traveling right now. I want a father that's I can't date somebody that is not invested in my children's lives, right? So
Yeah.
I want you to be there for all the baseball, basketball, football, track meets. But my Saturday can be tied up, right? So like if you have more than one child and they all under the age of 9, where they still playing in leagues where they might be sitting on the bench the whole day because it's one of those all kids have to be involved things, I ain't coming. If your kid is like AAU and I know that they playing for real, I'm coming out here to support, but I'm not coming to sit and watch your child warm the bench. Like I'm just and I feel like once you pass a certain age is when kids start to play for real, right? So 14, 15, 16, they playing for real. Ain't no more like us just sitting here warming the bench no more. So I could do that. I could do that. What you about to do? You put us on mute.
No, 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 because I my phone about to die, so I had to come and get it charged, you know. So I didn't want to distract your, you talking and stuff like that with these beeping noise and stuff. So that's why.
Well, we about to wrap up anyway. So, I'm going to share the podcast from YouTube onto my page for the people that was on here and need to see your beautiful face. I tried to do it last week, but I sucked at it. See, Amazon clicking, you hear my Alexa going off, Amazon delivering something at my door. I'm addicted to shopping. So if you want to be with me, just know I have an addiction. It's a problem. Um, but we're wrapping up 100 dates in 100 days. At least I shop for my own stuff. So, there's that.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
I don't ask nobody to shop for me. I mean, if you want to shop for me, I'm down. But I don't ask nobody to shop for me. So, 100 dates in 100 days. I'm going to see if anybody gonna ask me out this week. I'm gonna go outside just to see.
I guarantee few people gonna ask you. Few people gonna hit you up for sure after they see this.
I feel like again, people might hit me up, but they won't be in the state, so they won't be able to take me out on a date anyway. It's just gonna be like, man, what's up? How you doing? If you're not in Florida and you can't actually take me out on a date, like don't ask me out on a date. Like if you're in London or Dubai and you want to, that doesn't make sense to me. I get a lot of that. Don't get me wrong, I do get asked out on dates, but it's always like dates that can't possibly happen. So it's
That's the
dumb.
worst. That's the
That's
worst.
dumb to me. Like I'll send you a ticket to come to Dubai. So I'm gonna come to a Dubai to meet somebody that I've never met before in my whole life for us to go on a
That-
date.
That's a gamble.
That's like a serial killer's best thing in the world. Like I ain't doing it. Um, it's not gonna happen. So don't even waste your time asking me stupid questions. I just can't. I had somebody text my phone yesterday. They was looking for somebody else. And I said, who is this? I think you have the wrong number. And they said, well, what's your name? It's good to meet new people. I was like, how creepy is that? Like, you don't even know who you texted. You could be texting a 12-year-old kid. You don't even care. It's so weird to me.
It's the world we live in today. Crazy, crazy, crazy world. That's what it is.
So that's why I'm going to go in my kiddie pool where I could control what fish about to come in.
See, when you decide you jump in the ocean and jump in the pool. When you jump in the pool, you gotta invite people in. You gotta
that
invite.
I'll do that. I'll invite them in. I'm just very selective. The kiddie pool's small. Too many people can't fit in it. So
That's true.
it's gonna be really, really small. I can't deal with too many different personalities right now. Just it ain't it. I need a unicorn. I'm a unicorn, so I need a unicorn. That's it.
That's where you find unicorns in the ocean.
No.
That's where you find unicorns is in the ocean.
They're
You know,
there with the sharks and the whales and the dolphins and the
that's the unicorns. That's a unicorn. You know, that's the
then
true unicorns. That's where they
maybe
at.
I'm just gonna go invest in cats now and call it a day.
Oh gosh. You
I
know,
could be a cat lady.
you go what?
I could be a cat lady.
Do you want to
I'm,
be a cat lady?
I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah, that's. I don't think you. I don't think anybody would like you being a cat lady.
Well, they have to come correct then. So 100 dates in 100 days. I think I might actually start the process again. I think I might go on 100 dates in 100 days. It's been a couple years, right? I could go on 100 dates again.
Yeah. What month we in? We in April?
We're in April.
We in April. Yeah.
I'll be finished by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah. I could see. I could see you could do it.
Okay, so that's my new challenge, everybody. 100 dates in 100 days. Starting, I'm gonna start tomorrow. So 4/17/23. Start getting your dates ready. You could ask me out officially. I think that's another problem that most men have. Like they don't know how to ask you out on an official date. So
That's true.
they know how to say, I want to see you. What you doing? It would be really nice to see you. But the official asking out of a date on a date, they don't know how to do it. So I think everybody should watch YouTube how to ask somebody out on a date videos and then hit me up. Let
If
me
you guys
know.
need help, if you guys need help, contact me. I'll help you guys ask Candice out on a date.
You know the official way to do it.
I know the official way. So if you guys need, you guys hit me up. I'll help you guys out. I charge a fee though, so let's keep that in mind.
Oh my goodness. You gonna pimp me out?
No, I ain't pimping you out.
Pimping out advice. Selling advice.
No, no, no.
We're
I'm
gonna write
helping
a
you
book.
out.
We're gonna
I'm
write a
I
book.
mean I'm eliminating all the bad apples. So if someone is willing to pay for advice, then that's mean they're really, really interested in you. See, so I'm eliminating all the bad apples. So I'm actually helping you out.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your help
Yeah,
because
you already know.
this sorting through the bad apples, I can't. I
Yeah, we
can't.
gotta get rid of the bad apples, so but seeing how you look today and everything, somebody definitely will be asking you out,
They should
and
ask me
all the
out right now. I'm
information.
already dressed. Somebody said you're a smart guy.
See, they know.
They know you're gonna make some money because people
Yeah,
gonna ask you, and then they're gonna get
I
shut
appreciate
down.
that.
They're gonna call you back and ask you for a refund.
Nah,
You
you
didn't
know,
tell me her
hey,
ass was that difficult.
Candice, all they have to do is pay attention to this episode. That's all
I've
they
been
gotta
doing
do.
this podcast. People are not smart. I've been doing this podcast for years now, right? And they
Yeah,
could have simply gone back and watched my podcast and they would see all of my interests. I am very open and very honest on all of these things. People could have gone on here a long time ago and watched my podcast, read the blogs, because I even do little blogs about the dates that I've been on and like the red flags that I've seen. They had the ultimate blueprint, the ultimate cheat sheet. Still fail.
well,
'Cause it's too
this is
much
another
work.
time around.
It's too much work. They don't want to do the work. They just want the they just and I keep telling people I am not easy. You're not gonna get like I already have my own shit. You can't give me anything that I can't give myself. So you're gonna have to do better than the average guy or girl. I'm open. Um, so 100 days and 100 days. We will see you next week.
Yep,
Thank you
next week.
guys who have asked all your questions. If you have more, get them together. We'll answer them on your show next week. I appreciate the people who have sent me questions throughout the week and the conversations that I have had with people. Um, I'm always open. I have a lot of women who like tune in and they ask me for advice on their dating situations. And I'll tell you again, I am not a professional. This is my perspective. I have been on a whole lot of dates, but I don't have any letters behind my name. So anything that you get from me is just my personal opinion. Mumba, you have anything you want to say before we close out?
No, just what if we could get a guest on next week, whoever asks
Oh,
a
so
question,
anybody wants to be a guest, let us know. We'll let you
yeah,
on.
we let you on, So we'll myself and Candice and myself will take care of you, you know. So definitely.
I know I have one person that I'm supposed to do a podcast with, so I will ask her if she's available around this time. But if anybody else wants to be a guest, please let me know. Hit up either one of us in our inbox, and you'll probably get a quicker response from Moon, but then you will from me. No, I'm just playing. I answer DMs for the most part. I answer them.
ah,
So let me
I was
hit us up, and we'll let us know if you want to be a guest, or if you have any questions that you want us to, any topics that you want us to address that we didn't address. I know so far, we've talked about how soon do you talk about finances. We've talked about dating and children. We've talked about family trauma and dating. We've talked about once you've healed, how does dating look after that? I think we touched on that for a little bit.
yeah.
What else we talk about? We be talking about a lot.
It's a lot of information. That's why it's a lot of good information,
We talk about a
So
lot. We talked about who proposes, men or women.
yeah, we talk about that. We talk about transparency. We talk about how soon you introduce your kids to the person you dated. We have covered a lot.
Covered a
You
lot.
know.
If you guys have anything else you want us to talk about, please let us know. Like I said, I will share this video to my page so that they could be able to see your page. I will send the link out
Perfect.
earlier. I think I've sent it to a couple people, but if you click on the link, it should take you to the YouTube page, and you should be able just add the YouTube, follow the YouTube channel, and then that way, once we go live, you'll be able to see it on your own. All right, guys. Until next week, be safe.
You guys be safe. Bye bye.